Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH The Flame Emperor Part 72 based on novel. So let's start. A group of 7 people also slowly stepped up the steps, and then walked towards the entrance of the underground palace. As soon as he arrived at the gate of the underground palace, he noticed that the patrolling soldiers cast vigilant eyes, and then came to Xiao Yan and the others, obviously preparing to question him. Stop, this is the most important place for the Xianling royal family. Idle people and others, please leave. If you want to enter, please show your pass. The 5 soldiers were also fully armed, holding long swords, and looked at Xiao Yan and them vigilantly. One of the soldiers wearing 3 stars also slowly faced Wenzi. Road. The 3 stars represent that the soldier's rank is the 3rd level. There is no single star, which represents the most ordinary soldier, and there is a star on the shoulder, which represents a small captain. If there are 2, it is the squadron leader. If there are 3, it is the captain. A squad has 10 people, a squadron has 5 squads, a brigade has 5 squadrons, and so on. When Wenzi heard this, he also slowly touched the Na ring in his hand. The next moment, a jade talisman made of jade color also slowly appeared in Wenzi's hands. Captain Luo has worked hard. As usual, I will take them to the Xianling Emperor Pond. Wenzi also raised the jade talisman, and said to the captain, who was wearing 3 stars. I have seen the national teacher. Among the 3 confirmations of the jade talisman, the soldier also slowly gave Wenzi a military salute, then made a gesture of invitation, and shouted at the back. Verification passed, you can let go. Okay. A very loud voice also responded. Let's go. Wenzi also said to the people behind him. When several people heard the words, they also followed Wenzi to the door of the main hall slowly. It's really evil. Are those 2 tall, short, fat and thin people who are qualified to enter the Xianling Imperial Pond this time from our Xianling royal family? The person who Wenzi called Captain Luo also looked at the tall, short, fat and thin brother slowly. He said slowly, but there are some different memories in his heart. Obviously the origin of these 2 people is quite extraordinary. The next moment, the 5-member team also slowly patrolled. On the periphery of the underground palace, there is also a layer of invisible barrier, which isolates the underground palace, so Xiao Yang and the others cannot enter directly, and they have to wait for the staff here to take charge. Otherwise they will encounter the backlash of the barrier. Then the end will be extremely extreme. Miserable. Hee, when Guosha, this time you brought them to the Xianling Imperial Family Pool. Near the barrier of the underground palace hall, there were several powerful officers guarding them, and one of them was also smiling. He smiled at Wenzi. Yeah. Wenzi also responded slowly, and then threw the jade talisman towards the latter. At first glance, this officer looked like he had been fighting outside all the year round. His body was filled with murderous intent, his eyes were also very fierce, and then his whole body was covered with silver armor. What is that? The next moment, Xiao Yang also saw the officer's shoulder. The soldier's rank is usually displayed on the shoulder. It actually depicts a tiger's head. Xiao Yang inadvertently saw a hideous tiger's head appearing on the officer's shoulder. The tiger head represents the most elite troops of the Xianling royal family. The officer in front of him is actually a member of the Tiger Tooth Army. Xiao Yang was also the first to think. The next moment, when Wenzi was talking to Officer Na Ming, Xiao Yang suddenly remembered something. There are 3 most elite troops in the Xianling royal family, namely the 3 legions of Tiger, Eagle, and Dragon. The 3 major legions have made great contributions to the Xianling royal family. They have existed since the beginning of the Xianling royal family tens of thousands of years ago. Countless proud sons of the sky have also been defeated by these 3 legions. The three major armies are also the most powerful forces of the Xianling royal family, because these are the three most terrifying armies representing their Xianling imperial family. Huya Corps, an army with a total of 200 people. At first glance, the Tiger Tooth Army is indeed not that tyrannical, but those who know it know that the Tiger Tooth Army is not so simple. But don't underestimate the Huya Corps, because everyone who can join the Huya Corps is a strong and powerful person. The minimum requirement to join the Huya Corps is to reach the 5-star Do D. Only the powerhouses at the level of the 5-star Do Emperor can join the Huya Corps, and among the Tigreria Corps, the lowest strength is also the powerhouse, with the initial strength of the 5-star Do Emperor. This strict requirement also restricts many people who want to join it, but there is no doubt that as long as you can join the Tiger Tooth Army, your status is quite high. Joining the Huya Corps, various advantages, such as the inclination of cultivation resources, or the Xianling Imperial Pond, or even some precious things of the Xianling Imperial family, will also be armed to them at the first time. Wolf Eagle Legion, a more terrifying legion. Only those who have reached the level of a 6-star fighting emperor can join it. However, the number of the Wolf Eagle Legion is only 100. It is said that the Tiger Tooth Legion and the Wolf Eagle Legion are the backbone of the Xianling royal family. As for the last legion, they are also the peak powerhouses representing the Xianling royal family. As for the last, it is undoubtedly the most powerful legion. Dragon-loving Legion. A very small army, with only 10 people. However, the minimum requirement for joining this army is not only the strength of the 7-star Do Emperor, but also a lot of contributions to the Xianling royal family. The Dragon-loving Legion is the most powerful legion. The people who join this legion are like princes and nobles on weekdays. The battle is when this Dragon-loving Legion takes action. Those who can join the Dragon-loving Legion are all strong, and even their status and strength are the best among the crowd. The 10 members of the Legion are all peak powerhouses who have long been famous for Xiantian Santian. They joined the dragon-loving army of the Xianling royal family, and they respected even the 10 princes of the Xianling king. After all, the mobilization of the Tiger Tooth Army and the Wolf Eagle Army still requires the approval of the parliamentary group in the Xianling royal family, but this dragon-loving army is directly under the jurisdiction of the Xianling king. Although the minimum requirements for joining the Dragon-loving Legion are only the strength of the 7-star Do Emperor, it is said that the Dragon-loving Legion in the Xianling royal family has not changed for hundreds of years in the world. Even when he first joined the Dragon Addiction Army of the Xianling royal family, he was only a strong man with the strength of a 7-star Do Emperor. After 100 years, his strength must have grown by leaps and bounds. It seems that the power of the Xianling royal family is stronger than I thought. Xiao Yan also shook his head, then looked at the few people in front of him. If Xingyang really exists in this Xianling royal family, no matter what the cost, Xiao Yang wants to get it, but Xiao Yang has also discovered the background of this Xianling royal family. However, Xiao Yang is not in a hurry. After all, don't forget Xiao Yang's identity. Pharmacist. Xiao Yang also believed that a high-level pharmacist, many people would be happy to owe a favor. What Xiao Yang knew just now was also what old Zhu told him before, but seeing the people of the Tiger Tooth Army now, his heart was a little shocked. The person with the tiger print on his shoulder should be just a member of the Tiger Tooth Army. It is rumored that the strength of the leaders of the Huya Legion is quite terrifying, even if they are comparable to some of the deputy hall masters of the super sect. However, this person's strength and terror have also reached the 5-star Do Emperor consummation. Just one soldier in this Tiger Tooth Army has such terrifying strength, and this Tiger Tooth Army is also. Xiao Yang also murmured. Because Xiao Yang knew that there were hundreds of strong men in this Huya army, such a formation was quite terrifying. However, this Xianling royal family is also very strange. It has 3 legions of tiger teeth, wolf eagles and dragon-loving dragons. Even if it is unified in Xiantian Santian, it has the power to fight. Why? Xiao Yang also had an idea in his mind. It's just that this is not the time to think about this question. I can only go back and ask the old Zhu. I want to come here and know the status of the old Zhu. Mu Yingying on the side also seemed to feel Xiao Yang's strangeness, and then her beautiful eyes moved slightly. If you have any work to do, then I'll take them in first. Wenzi said to Xiao Yang after talking to the officer with the tiger print on his shoulder for a while. Sir, please. Wenzi slowly made a gesture of please, and then lowered his body slightly. Let's go. I hope you little guys will fight for some energy this time. Elder Zhu slowly finished speaking, and also stepped into the barrier in front of him. Let's go. Xiao Yang and the others also looked at each other, and the next moment, they stepped in suddenly. The tall, short, fat and thin brother and sister also slowly stepped forward, and then stepped into the barrier. At this time, Elder Zhu and his party of 7 also disappeared at the entrance of the barrier of the underground palace, and entered the underground palace. Sir, the old man just now seemed a little terrifying. Someone at the entrance of the barrier couldn't help but say. What is the job of a soldier? The officer with the tiger print also shouted loudly. Obey orders and listen to orders. The soldier who asked the question stood at attention in a conditioned reflex the next moment. It's good to know, don't ask what you shouldn't ask. The people from the Tiger Tooth Army also shouted loudly. I don't know how many people in the Xianling Emperor Pond can succeed this time. Although baptism is simple, very few can survive it. I remember a total of 10 people came last time, and in the end, no one made it through. The man with the tiger print on his shoulder slowly stared at the disappearing people, and then murmured. 7 people in a row slowly passed through the barrier, and entered the underground palace. Xiao Yang and the others were anxious to sit on a piece of land with a relatively soft soil quality, and then their eyes slowly spread out. The first thing that came into Xiao Yang's eyes was surrounded by teachers' walls, and there was only one road in front of him, and that was a dark channel. With their arrival, many oil lamps were also lit instantly next to the passage, but upon closer inspection, the passage was actually from top to bottom. The place where Xiao Yang and the others were located was the starting point, and it was impressively spread for dozens of meters. Descending steps. No wonder it's the underground palace. Xiao Yang also muttered. Since the 5 of you have arrived together, the Xianling Emperor Pond can also begin this trip. But I have to warn you in advance that this underground palace is the most important place for our Xianling royal family. Don't try to use your soul power or perception to detect anything. Otherwise, if something goes wrong. Wenzi's voice also increased by a few decibels, and then he said to them a few people, especially Xiao Yang glared at him. After all, he had found out that this standing soul is quite powerful. Xiao Yang was also quite helpless about this. After all, when he came to an unfamiliar place, he always used his soul power to investigate, but in the underground palace of the Xianling royal family, there were obviously some hidden secrets. Moreover, the obscure atmosphere even made Xiao Yang feel uneasy. Therefore, even without Wenzi's reminder, Xiao Yang will never release his soul power without authorization. After all, it is easy to find the strong in this underground palace, but his own soul power is backlashing, that's no joke. Well, the 5 people who participated in the Xianling Emperor Pond also spoke up. Hello, my name is Xiao Shou, she is my sister Da Pang, and we are part of the Xianling royal family. Welcome to the underground palace of the Xianling royal family to participate in the baptism of the Xianling Imperial Pond. Although we didn't go to the original point grabbing competition, because of some things, I heard that you killed the twin ghost emperors and won the first place in the competition. You will be a rare opponent. But we are part of the Xianling royal family. The tall, thin man also said slowly to Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang's brows furrowed when he heard the words. Obviously, when he saw the two brothers and sisters, he felt a very strange fluctuation from them. It was as if the two of them had something that Xiao Yang was taboo about, but at the entrance of the underground palace, the two didn't speak, and Xiao Yang didn't stop there. Hello, we are part of the Burning Incense Pavilion. We came here to see the magnificence of the underground palace of the Xianling royal family. On the other hand, we are also here to collect our qualifications to enter the Xianling Imperial Pond. Mu Yingying also went up slightly before, and then said to the slender man. Humph! What a stern woman, Tilda. I hope to enter the Xianling Emperor Pond in a while. You still have such audacity. Xiaoshuo's younger sister Dafa also said. This will not bother you anymore. Mu Yingying also snorted coldly. Obviously she couldn't stand the arrogant and domineering attitude of the two, so she said. Stop for a while, stop arguing. What are you two doing here? Wenzi also glared at the tall, short, fat and thin siblings beside him. Yes, Master National Teacher. Facing Wenzi's strictness, the two of them had no choice but to give up their fight with Xiao Yang and the others. The Xianling Emperor Pond has many magical effects, but one thing is certain, it can baptize the Do Qi in your body and remove the impurities in your body, so as to achieve the purpose of purity, for you to step into the 6-star Do Emperor in the future. Get ready. Because every powerhouse, when the 5-star Do D is consummated, will be greeted with a thunder tribulation. You can only be promoted to the 6-star Do Emperor if you stick to the past, otherwise you will only be stuck at the perfect level of the 5-star Do Emperor for the rest of your life. As for other effects, it's up to you to discover them yourself. Wenzi also smiled slowly. After Wenzi finished speaking, Mu Feng, who was beside him, opened his mouth in surprise, obviously shocked by Wenzi's words. Because it is rumored that this Xianling Emperor Pond has many functions, but this is the only thing that has not been mentioned. This Xianling Emperor Pond is simply a stepping stone for them to advance to the 6-star Do Emperor. Since everything is ready, let's go. Wenzi also said slowly, and then walked down first. Let's go, you little fellows, let me pay attention to this two people from the Xianling Imperial family. They have entered the Xianling Imperial Pond. If they can, don't let them have the qualifications to touch the Xianling Imperial Pond. Zhu Lao's voice was also slow. Slowly appeared in the hearts of Xiao Yang and the others. What does this mean? The three of them were also at a loss, although they didn't know what it meant, but since the old Zhu would entrust them, it was necessary to think about it. So they also wrote it down in their hearts, and then followed Wenzi. Down. The sound of water droplets was very harsh in this silent passage. In a few minutes, a group of 7 people also passed through the passage, and then came to a rather empty place. Here. Coming here, Xiao Yang also discovered some abnormalities in this space at the first time. The ticking sound of dripping water made them all vigilant in their hearts. Although there were some tick-tock dripping sounds, when they came to the first floor of the underground palace, what they saw was an empty place. Other than that, there was nothing else. This is an extremely empty space, and the space is filled with a very attractive fragrance. Looking closely, the space here is a circular space, and there is a square building in the center of the space. It seems a bit like a sacrificial altar. How do I get to the Xianling Emperor Pond? Xiao Yang also muttered. Obviously, even if he didn't use his soul power to explore the first floor of the underground palace, Xiao Yang knew it. It is the first floor of this underground palace. But this place is very empty, except for the passage that came in and the thing that looked like an altar in front of him. There were no other passages. Hee, don't wonder, this is the first floor of the underground palace, and it is also where you go to the Flame Emperor Pond. Have you seen the altar in the center? That's a space teleportation formation. Elder Zhu's voice also slowly appeared in the underground palace. Space teleportation formation. Xiao Yan's eyes became puzzled when he heard the words. Obviously, if the altar in front of him was a space teleportation formation, everything would be reasonable. Master Zhu said it is true, but more importantly, the space teleportation formation on the first floor of the underground palace was also constructed by the old Zhu group. Wenzi also smiled slowly, but his face changed in a moment. Was extremely unhappy and flashed away. Apparently even Wenzi was reluctant to recall it. After all, when he asked Zhu Jin to come to build the space teleportation formation, it consumed a lot of their financial resources. It seems that Zhu Lao's understanding of the game has also reached a whole new level. When I go back, I must follow Zhu Lao to learn the essence of the formation. Xiao Yang also has a plan in his heart. After all, although he is also a fighting formation master, to a certain extent, his understanding of formation is also still in a state of ignorance. Okay, time is running out. Now let's take you in first. Remember, the Flame Emperor Pond is very precious, and being able to live in the qualifications does not mean that you can live with enough benefits. Everything depends on you. Also, the Flame Emperor Pond can let you stay in it for a month at most. No matter what, you will be pushed out by the Flame Emperor Pond after a month. Wenzi also said lightly with a feather fan. Yeah. The five responded in unison. Xiao Yang also noticed the fiery gazes in the eyes of Xiaoshu and Da Pang, as if they were winning. The next moment, an extremely majestic force appeared in Wenzi's hand, and then slowly injected it towards the altar in the center. With the injection of Wenzi's huge fighting spirit, a dazzling light also radiated from the dim altar. Sir, help me. Wenzi also shouted at Boss Zhu. Go. Before Wenzi finished speaking, the silver vindictive aura of Zhu Lao's figure slowly radiated, and at the same time, a silver vindictive aura that contained the power of life and death also slowly permeated the space. The appearance of two forces caused the space to vibrate slightly. The next moment, the altar in the space also brightened, and then slowly exuded an extremely terrifying wave. Go in. Elder Zhu's voice also appeared. Well. The next moment, the five of them also stepped into the space teleportation formation above the altar. As soon as he stepped into the altar, he felt a faint suction force firmly locking Xiao Yang and the others. Cough, cough. Mu Yingying was also a little hurried. It was obviously the first time she had endured this space teleportation formation, so she didn't know what to do. Use your fighting spirit to protect yourself. Just when Mu Yingying was in a hurry, a gentle voice echoed in her ears. Mu Yingying raised her head and found out that it was Xiao Yang. At the same time, Xiao Yang's broad palm also slowly pulled Mu Yingying's jade hand, and then an extremely gentle flame of Do Qi also slowly enveloped Mu Yingying. Why is this Mu Yingying's palm so hot? This was Xiao Yang's first thought, but it was too late to think. This space teleportation formation was pushed to the limit. This Xiao Yang really seems to have the smell of a big brother. Mu Yingying also looked at Xiao Yang blankly, and then bit her lips slightly, thinking in her heart. The light became brighter and brighter. With the continuous support of Wenzi and Zhu Lao's huge fighting spirit, the five of them also disappeared in an instant. I don't know how many people will succeed this time. Wenzi also withdrew his strength, and then looked at the five people who disappeared and muttered. There is a certain number in the dark. Zhu Lao also said slowly, and then stared at a certain space above the altar in the underground palace. Where the space seems to be different from other places. Sir Tilda, let's go, it's almost time for the auction to start in a month. Wenzi also hurriedly said. Let's go. When Zhu Lao heard the words, he didn't stop there, and went straight back to the exit. This Zhu Jin is getting stronger and stronger. And how did he find the entrance to this underground palace? Wenzi also glanced at the slightly strange space, then left the underground palace without stopping. With the departure of Wenzi and Zhu Jin, calm was restored in this underground palace. King. Looks like this fluctuation, they have already entered the Xianling Emperor Pond. A man surrounded by black energy also respectfully faced the Xianling Emperor in front of him. Ha ha, since my Xianling royal family can't get something, Yufanxiang Pavilion also want to get it. Remember. Don't stay alive. King Xianling also gestured towards the neck, and some of his eyes were full of pride. Yes. Hearing this, the man in black also retreated into the surrounding space. Flaming R. Death for thousands of years is resistance. But after I get the blood essence of the 9-colored swallowing python, it will be the day you surrender. At that time, I will be the king of Xian-san. Ha ha ha. King Xianling also laughed. Shabu shabu. The 5 passed through the space teleportation formation, and also came to an unfamiliar place. Are you all right? Just after landing, before Xiao Yan could look around, Mu Yingying, who found the jade hand she was holding, stared blankly at herself. His eyes were very blurred, as if he was caught in some thought. As Xiao Yang's voice fell, Xiao Shou, Da Pang, and Mu Feng also stared at Xiao Yang and Mu Yingying. Obviously they were very vague about their relationship. What? I'm fine. Mu Yingying's face was also flushed, and then she instantly retracted her jade hand, a prince like a deer jumping around. Really, cow? Mu Feng also gave Xiao Yang a thumbs up, and then said. Go. 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 Let's do business. Xiao Yang didn't care about these people, and immediately looked at this unfamiliar place, but the accident happened at this moment. Xiao Yang and the others were also qualified to enter the Xianling Emperor Pond. It seems that the space teleportation formation, on the first floor of the underground palace, is the entrance to this Xianling Emperor Pond. Xiao Yang thought so in his heart. With the dazzling light shining, Xiao Yang and the others also disappeared into the underground palace, and the next moment, the 5 of them also reappeared in a new place. Looking around, the place where the 5 of them are at this time is also a space teleportation formation, which is obviously linked to the first layer lock of the underground palace. The Seveljong altar of the space teleportation formation here is obviously linked to the underground palace, and Xiao Yang also discovered that there is a road not far away, and it is unknown where it leads. Let's go. Xiaoshou and Da Fatang shouted as soon as they landed, and then they ran hand in hand, and instantly disappeared beside Xiao Yang and the others. They stepped down the steps, facing the slightly 5 meters away. Run through the wide passage of left and right. What are they doing? Mu Feng also wondered. No, hurry up. Although Xiao Yang didn't know what these 2 were up to, there was no doubt that these 2 were the best in the Xianling royal family, and this Xianling Imperial Pond was also owned by the Xianling Imperial family. It was inevitable that these 2 would know something that Xiao Yang did not even know. When Mu Yingying and Mu Feng heard the words, they also nodded at Xiao Yang, and then chased them away. With Mu Yingying's 4-star Do Emperor's ability to successfully touch the 5-star Do Emperor level, even if the strength of the 2 brothers and sisters has reached the 5-star Do Emperor level, Mu Yingying is still somewhat confident, and chasing these 2 is not worth mentioning. Xiao Yang was at the back of the 4, chasing and releasing a huge soul, and then his eyes became strange. The Emperor Xianling Pond. Accordingly, it should be a river-like existence. Why haven't I seen any rivers, or even the sound of running water? Xiao Yang also thought in his heart. The next moment, before Xiao Yang thought about it, there was a result. This is. Xiao Yang also stopped his steps, then stared blankly at the ground under his feet. Because Xiao Yang also felt it, it was obviously unreasonable why there would be a protruding piece in the middle of this seemingly flat road. Xiao Yang, what's wrong with you? Mu Yingying on the side also noticed that there seemed to be some strange things here, and she did not use all her strength to chase the two brothers and sisters, but paid attention to Xiao Yang's side. When she saw Xiao Yang's eyes became strange, and he also stopped, then walked back and said to Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang, what did you find? Mu Feng also realized that this was definitely not the Xianling Emperor Pond, and immediately asked. As soon as I came here, I noticed something was wrong. Look, what is under my feet? After Xiao Yang finished speaking, he crouched down and pointed at the strangely colored stone under his feet. Isn't this an ordinary stone? Mu Yingying also wondered. Although this stone is quite protruding and special, it doesn't seem to have any substantive effect. What did Xiao Yang discover? What do you think, Mu Feng? Xiao Yang didn't expect this Mu Yingying, and immediately turned his head to face Mu Feng. This stone. I seem to have seen it somewhere. After Mu Feng finished speaking, he also grabbed his forehead with one hand and tried to recall. This is a kind of stone that is not fake. But it also has a name. Fish origin stone. Xiao Yang also slowly looked at the stone on the ground and said. Fish origin stone. Mu Yingying also bit her lip slightly, then crouched down slightly curiously and looked at the stone pointed by Xiao Yang. On the flat ground, a protruding stone also appeared. Upon closer inspection, it was a rather strange stone, showing an irregular shape, but Mu Yingying's palm just touched it, and there was an impressive and extremely cold feeling swept through the body. This stone is so weird, there seems to be some power in it. Mu Yingying also made a judgment after a short contact. Yes, this is the fish origin stone. The legend is a rather rare stone. Its value is similar to that of Neijing. It can absorb or store Do Qi, or some mysterious power, so that people can absorb it. Mu Feng also said slowly. Obviously the words of Xiao Yang and Mu Yingying also reminded Mu Feng. Something about this fish origin stone. What Mu Feng said is not false. However, the value of this fish origin stone is more than that. Except for what you said, Mu Feng, as far as I know, every birth of this fish origin stone is related to the fall of a strong man, and only the fall of a strong man is formed. The so-called fish here also has its own title. Tian Mu Yu. Xiao Yang also said slowly. What is Tian Mu Yu? Mu Feng also had a half-knowing tilde and then asked. Tian Mu Yu does not refer to a single person or creature, but to a group of fish that once caused a panic within Xiantian 3 days. Xiao Yang also said slowly. The Tianmuyu race was originally just a small race in the ocean in Xiantian-san, and it was preyed on by humans all the year round, but I don't know what happened at the beginning. The Tianmuyu race has the ability to cultivate, with their huge number, also brought a disaster to Xiantian. Then there were 9 real powerhouses in the Tianmuyu race, and they were the representatives of their Tianmuyu clan. As for this fish source stone, it means that this is the place where the 9 strong men among the Tianmu fish fell. Because this fish origin stone is something that will only appear after the fall of the 9 Tianmuyu clan experts. Xiao Yang's gaze also became difficult to look at. Because these are obviously what Zhu Lao told him, but the strength of the 9 strong men of the Tianmuyu clan is not weak. Put this fish source stone away first. I believe it may be useful for a while. After Xiao Yang finished speaking, his eyes became hot. Then the next moment, milky white flames appeared all over the body, slowly wrapping the palm of the hand, and ruthlessly pulling out the Yuyuan stone embedded on the ground. Damn it. This thing can't be pulled out. Xiao Yan also showed a thoughtful expression, and then his eyes kept rolling. This video will end here.